B, I've been just thinking about this game nonstop. You brought something up earlier this week, and it got me to thinking long and hard. You know, you talk to a lot of athletes, and you'll get a lot of different answers.
Yep.
But Peyton Manning's talked about anxiety.
Yeah.
Understanding the magnitude of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people aren't as anxiety-filled as Peyton Manning was, right? His brother, if you've seen him on the broadcasts, kind of conducts himself significantly different than Peyton. Peyton's an overthinker, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody deals with things a little different. But when I look at these quarterbacks that are all in the playoffs right now, you have all these first-round picks, and then you have Brock Purdy. And they're all different. They're all at different points in their careers. And how you quantify pressure is, you know, based on your point of view. It could be playing for a contract, playing for legacy. It could be playing for your job. It could be playing for the moment. It could be to quiet the doubters. I'm not going to say the word naysayers because that has made the rounds. But I look at where Brock Purdy's at, and I look at where Kyle Shanahan's at, and all I keep coming back to is this. You can make arguments for other people, McDermott, Lamar Jackson, multiple MVPs, and not a lot of playoff success. You could go to Mahomes. Every year he doesn't win it is a disappointment. There are lots of different people. I'm just looking at Shanahan and Brock Purdy. I feel like there is a tremendous amount of pressure on both guys to win this weekend. And not just win this weekend, but to win it all.
We'll get to Brock. Let me start with Shanahan because I don't want to piss people off when it comes to Brock Purdy. Because
no, I just want to be real.
No. We could be real, and I don't want people to take it as a negative. But let's just keep it real. First of all, Shanahan is extended through when 2027.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, Shanahan has no pressure. Shanahan is not going anywhere. His seat is not hot. His seat is not mild. Shanahan will be back as head coach for the San Francisco 49ers. Without a doubt, we'll question him. We'll do it. We'll question him and say he can't win the big one. He can't win the big one. Does he have a lot to prove? Sure. He has a lot to prove.
You're taking pressure, and your point of view is job security, correct?
That's one aspect of it. That's one aspect of it.
Okay.
Also, he has the players. And I understand that players at the end of the day are going to have to execute. They're going to have to execute every block, every tackle, every catch, every throw, every motion. They're going to have to execute that. That falls on the players. Shanahan can put the game plan together, and now we can look back and say, whoa, this game plan wasn't great. Shanahan's game plan sucked. But that other part of it is, sure, he does have the job security. Let me get to Brock Purdy. Because in that article, and everybody went crazy because I said long-term, who would you rather have, Jordan Love or Brock Purdy? Naturally talented. Jordan Love is naturally talented, quote-unquote better arm, but Brock Purdy's a more accurate quarterback. It's fine. I love Brock Purdy with the 49ers, but here's something that I thought about last night. And maybe it's pressure, maybe it's you have a lot to prove.
Okay.
Because I could make the argument that Nick Bosa has more pressure than Brock Purdy does this Saturday. Nick Bosa has a lot of pressure on him because of the fact that he didn't get a single sack last season in the postseason. I saw Brock Purdy light up Seattle in the second half and make all the throws in the fourth quarter against the Dallas Cowboys. But maybe the question is, who has more to prove? Because Nick Wagner, in that article, when he wrote that Shanahan talked to Brock Purdy and said, you're the starter unless Tom Brady came out of retirement. And Brock was like, really? Really? Well, that also tells me this, Shasky. If Brock Purdy doesn't play well Saturday, and he doesn't prove that he can handle the bright lights Saturday night against the Green Bay Packers, and he doesn't prove that he can take this team to the NFC title game, well, that pressure this offseason is going to mount because there's a quarterback in Minnesota who's going to be a free agent. That's Kirk Cousins. So if Shanahan is already looking at Tom Brady as a veteran, and Tom Brady was in his mid-40s, he had a cool season with Tampa Bay, but he said unless Tom Brady wanted to come out of retirement and quarterback this football team, you're the starter.
I hadn't even considered Cousins.
Now Kirk Cousins, we saw him on Monday Night Football light up the 49ers in front of Kyle Shanahan. And Shanahan has made no secret for years and years and years that he loves him some Kirk Cousins. Now, I don't. I would rather have Brock Purdy every day of the week and twice on Sunday over Kirk Cousins. But what about Shanahan? And what if Brock Purdy falls short Saturday and he looks like complete garbage and he looks like he turns into a pumpkin, which I highly doubt. I think Brock Purdy's going to play well, especially after the Green Bay Packers talked all that trash. But Shanahan proved to me. He proved to me in that article with Nick Wagoner that he's never going to ever fully trust a quarterback 100%. It's just not in his DNA.
Well, that is undeniable. Jimmy Garoppolo heading into 2019, there were rumors already, year or two in to their relationship. Hey, Nick Mullins, if Jimmy falters, immediately after losing in the Super Bowl, they sniffed around Tom Brady, at least sniffed around him. This isn't me. This isn't Bonte Hill. This is the team. They're the ones that traded heaven and earth to get Trey Lance. They're the ones that immediately pivoted off Jimmy and then brought Jimmy back.
Right.
And then immediately pivoted off Trey Lance and then went to Brock Purdy. And then we're thinking about trying to lure Tom Brady out of retirement. So their actions are kind of speaking to what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Not you and me.
Yeah,
not you and me.
It's their actions.
Their actions.
It's their actions.
That's
not mine.
That's a good point.
Not mine.
I just keep coming back to this. If I just remove, nobody thinks Shanahan's getting fired. Remove job security. So let's just throw that to the side. I do think there are a lot of Niner fans, not everyone, a lot of Niner fans that are sitting here going, dude, you got your young quarterback. You got the full roster healthy and ready to go. Okay, you're missing Cleve Farrell. Nobody thinks that Cleve Farrell is the differentiator of winning or losing in a playoff game. He can help, don't get me wrong, but it's not like you're missing your left tackle who's going to the Hall of Fame.
Right.
You're not missing your all-world running back or Debo or your quarterback. I think a lot of people are going to look at Shanahan, and I love Shanahan, but they're going to go to themselves, if you can't do it now, when can you do it?
Well, sure, but he's not going anywhere. And the argument in the offseason, if Shanahan can't get it done right now, is, well, I'd rather have Shanahan than maybe 28 other coaches in the NFL.
I think a lot of people
So that's not going anywhere. Shanahan is still going to be considered one of the bright young minds in the NFL. And he's not going anywhere. So I think the pressure off of Shanahan, that's dissipated. Shanahan's going to be here for a long time.
So they're down 8. And that graphic pops up in the fourth quarter.
Right.
And whatever it is, 10,000. I think it's 40 games, give or take. 40 games. 39, down 8 or more in the playoffs and in the regular season in the fourth quarter. You don't think 888-957-957, the lines are going to light up ripping him?
That's undeniable. That's undeniable, the conversations that will be had.
He would be in the crucible.
But I'm telling you right now, he's not going anywhere.
No. Well, we agree there.
And then there's going to be a lot of Niner fans who come back and say, well, who would you rather have? Who would you rather have? Belichick? McVay?
But I do believe scrutiny would be there, don't you?
The scrutiny's always going to be there.
So
he got blamed. He got blamed for a Super Bowl he was the offensive coordinator for 28-3. So scrutiny's always going to be there.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Scrutiny's always, but scrutiny's going to be there with everybody. You don't think if Bosa doesn't show up on Saturday, there's going to be scrutiny there about his contract?
Yeah, people are coming for everyone.
So that
you
goes with the whole team.
To prove?
Who?
Brock Purdy?
Brock Purdy has to prove it again. And this is when we got to the conversation, and you said,
interesting.
We're saying, Jared Goff and Brock Purdy has the same amount to prove. Well, Jared Goff has proven that he could take a team to at least the Super Bowl. And I don't even know if he took that team. Because in the playoffs,
give him the benefit
in the playoffs, it's all about the team.
Yes.
It's about running the football. It's about getting after the quarterback. You can't lean on the quarterback to carry you in a playoff game. That's not going to work. You need your quarterback to play a lot. And I don't want Brock Purdy to carry this offense. He doesn't need to.
Yeah, but he still has to execute.
Christian McCaffrey, Kittle, and everybody. But execution is key. So when I read that article from Nick Wagoner, and they're talking about Tom Brady again. Look, Shannon Sharp, I can't unsee it. I can't unhear it when Shannon Sharp, and you guys can think he's a clown all you want to. The guy's a Hall of Famer. The guy won 3 Super Bowls. The guy played for Mike Shanahan. We just saw the picture of Christian McCaffrey sitting on Shanahan's lap.
That's pretty cool.
Or Shannon Sharp's lap.
Yeah,
and what Shannon Sharp said earlier this season, the Shanahans and patience don't go together. You don't think if Brock doesn't show up on Saturday? Because let's be real. We saw during the 3-game losing streak, Brock couldn't carry the offense. And that's okay. And I said that in real time. I don't care if Brock Purdy can't carry this team by himself. He doesn't need to. He's in his second year playing quarterback. Play around your weapons. Brady didn't carry his offense for the first 4 years.
No.
Brady didn't start carrying the offense till about year 6, year 7, year 8. So I'm okay with that. But boy, if Brock Purdy struggles And I know Kirk Cousins is lingering, coming off an injury. And you know the Shanahans will do their due diligence to check every box. The fact that they're looking to upgrade off Brock Purdy from last season tells you everything you need to know that Brock Purdy has the most to prove on Saturday.
It's hard for me to argue with you. I want to take Shanahan. I want to take Brock. I'm going back and forth. Let me go back in the annals of history here with you. And it was so different because the Cowboys, I think that we underrated going into the game how good the Cowboys were. And then in retrospect, it's like, yeah, they were pretty loaded, and that team was better. The 92 championship game, a.k.a. January of 93. Steve Young is the reigning MVP, and Joe Montana's on the sideline.
Right.
Who do you think got the most scrutiny for that loss? Was it Steve Young for falling short, or was it Seifert for not going to Montana in that game?
Both. But Steve Young got the most scrutiny.
You think Steve got the most scrutiny?
I think
was
so.
The dynamic just different? Like Seifert wasn't viewed the way we view Shanahan?
I think it was both. I think they both got full culpability. I think it was, Seifert, it's a big drop-off for Bill Walsh.
Yes, I agree.
Mike Holmgren may have won that game.
Yeah.
We should have maybe made Mike Holmgren the head coach, by the way. If you missed that interview yesterday, it was really good. A lot of people hit me up about that. Go to the Odyssey app or download 957thegame.com to check that interview out. Mike Holmgren, former coach of the Packers, and, of course, city native, joined us yesterday on the roast for about 25 minutes. Really good stuff there. And then you think about Steve Young with Joe Montana lingering on the bench in a full uniform. And you talk about it all the time with your dad and grandpa. Joe Montana would have won that football game. My mom said the same thing. Joe Montana would have won that football game. So when it comes to this team, and I don't think the Niners are falling short. I think they're going to beat the Green Bay Packers because they're talking out the side of their necks. And I think Brock Purdy will show up. But since you asked a question about pressure or proving, and I'll play along here because I think there's a lot of guys who have a lot to prove and a lot of pressure. And I'm looking at Nick Bosa here because that's where it starts for me. I'm not really worried about the offense. I think the offense will move the ball. I think Brock Purdy's going to play well. I think Debo's going to show up. I feel really good about the offense against this Green Bay defense. I'm looking at that front four, and I'm saying, what can you do to fluster Jordan Love? And if they don't show up, we may have a closer ball game than we all anticipate. So that's why I look at number 97 saying, you've got to dominate on Saturday. Bosa, it's your time.
I wonder how many people are going to take the defense. I feel like the league and fantasy football has skewed everything. We're so quarterback, offensive, head coach, driven just as a society. I wonder how many people are going to take. But I don't think you're wrong. I think a lot of people are like, hey, bro, you held out. Right. You got paid the biggest bag. And you had a really lackluster season. I think a lot of people, and last year's playoffs, to your point, left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth. Nationally, though, I think Bosa will skate. If they fall short, Bosa skates. Purdy, I'm telling you, there are the national pundits, the people that are skeptical on Purdy are waiting for his demise.
You know what, though? I don't really give a damn about the national. You know how I feel about the national narrative.
But I think a lot of fans care.
I
know you don't. I know you don't.
I don't really give a damn. I really don't. I don't care about pressure because if the Niners win this game, guess what? There's going to be a lot more pressure next week. Yeah. If the Niners win that game, there's going to be a lot more pressure in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So pressure's not going anywhere. Everybody has pressure at this point. Is it Lamar? Who has the most pressure this weekend? Is it Josh Allen? Is it Lamar Jackson? Is it Jared Goff? Is it C.J. Stroud has no pressure? He's playing with house money. He's a rookie. Jordan Love is playing with house money. You know, Baker Mayfield. Is there a lot more pressure on him? Like, I'm looking at Brock Purdy. He's in his second year. But out of all the quarterbacks that are playing this weekend in the divisional round of the playoffs, the most pressure, Brock Purdy's not even in the top 4.
What's the reason, if I took, and I know injuries might be the biggest one, but if I took that off the board, what's the biggest reason why Jimmy Garoppolo is not quarterback anymore? Playoff shortcomings. To me. Maybe I'm misreading it.
I was going to say the injury. You took the injuries off the board.
The injuries is probably the biggest factor.
He did what Shanahan wanted him to do, but I look, Super Bowl 54, Shanahan coach scared. I'll never.
It was all of
that one.
Yes.
You know, Super Bowl 54, I put more on Shanahan than I put on Jimmy G. Shanahan coach scared. He did. He's coach scared in the fourth quarter. He coach scared at the end of the first half. Mostert didn't even see a carry in the first quarter of that game.
And they got away from the jet sweeps with Debo. Right. There's no doubt. I mean, I can make an argument, and I love Shanahan, but I mean, I can make an argument that Shanahan has come up short as a play caller, not helping out his quarterback, as well as his quarterback not playing well in all of their playoff losses.
No doubt. And so
I think the entire team has a lot to prove.
So they got a lot to prove, but you know what? They're ready for this moment.
You know what
They're
somebody
ready
hit
for
me
this
up and
moment.
said?
What?
That if they can't win the Super Bowl this year, they got a very big Houston Rockets-like feel, where they're one of those regular season teams that kicks butt in the regular season and can't win the big one. And I push back on that, but they have to win one eventually. They have to win one.
Let's go to let's get Nick and Berkeley in here. Nick and Berkeley, what's happening? I want to get hyped up for Saturday. Pressure, proving. We're going to kick the Green Bay Packers' ass. The pressure's there. The pressure's going to always be there in the playoffs. Let's go to Nick and Berkeley.
What's up, y'all? Hey, man, the time for talk is over. All road comes through Levi's. It's time to get super hyped. I've been tossing and turning all week. I can't even believe it. How dare you Packers talk smack? Are you out of your mind? You're about to get smashed on. We smashed you the last time you came here, and I called the pick when Sherman got that pick. When your boy threw it up and just quit on his team. We make the Packers quit every time. I don't care who their quarterback is. We're about to put the smack down on these cats, man. I can't even believe they're talking smack. Jalen Hurts is out there pulling a Garoppolo. Bye-bye, cry. They're making excuses out there. They suck. Straight bum status. You know what? D'Amico's about to go into Baltimore, and they're about to let him have it, dude. That's going to be your shocker. And, man, I'm telling you, we might face the Texans in the bowl, but one game at a time. Levi Stadium, Niner faithful, it's time to get super hyped.
It is.
I'm in 408. I'm up there in 408. I look down, I see Shasky jumping around every game. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring the noise. Me and my daughter, we're going to be making more noise up there. We're going to be shaking the stadium, man. The stadium is going to reach new levels.
Nick, and I'm going to tell you and I'm going to tell every Niner fan out there, on Saturday, the Niners are wearing red. Every fan that comes to Levi Stadium, because I saw the tickets, and it's going to be 97% Niner fans inside the stadium. I guess there's not going to be a lot of Packer fans. The ticket thing,
okay,
yeah, you know how they always gauge that?
Yeah.
I don't want to see a white jersey in the building.
I like that.
I want all red 49er jerseys. I want red 49er jackets. I want an absolute red out on Saturday. That's what I want on Saturday, an absolute red out. Red jerseys, red pants if you need them, gold pants, whatever. But I don't want to see a freaking white jersey in the bleachers. Not on Saturday, and when they smash the Packers, I don't want to see it in the NFC title game either.